Wow, Chelsea certainly like to leave it late and not even end up doing the job ourselves. Chelsea are into the top four thanks to Gareth Bale and Tottenham Hotspur. I wouldn't have thought that's how this would have happened this season, but Gareth Bale scores 2 goals in the end to secure Chelsea's top four hopes as Chelsea lose 2-1 to Aston Villa, with Azpilicueta getting a red card towards the end as well. What a ridiculous game. I spent most of that game very tense. I was sitting there just worried, and I see Leicester scoring and I'm panicking. I see Liverpool scoring, I'm panicking, and then Aston Villa go and score. I mean, we'll go take a look. This is how the Premier League table ends for the season. Leicester dropping down to 5th, West Ham getting in there as well in the Europa League spots, and Spurs getting a Conference League spot, with the top 4 being City, United, Liverpool and Chelsea just about on 1 point ahead of Leicester. So Leicester dropping into 5th I do find amusing given how the FA Cup final went. The bit of disrespect from their players after that as well. I'm sure they won't be too disappointed with that as a season, in all fairness, but at the same time they would have liked Champions League football, and we've snuck in just ahead of them. They've bottled it yet again 2 seasons running. So focusing on our game though, I thought we were the bottlers today, and in a way we were. You know, we relied on another team to get anything for us. But 2-1 to Aston Villa. The entire team today, poor. There's not a single player that I can say that was out there that showed any sort of gusto. I think Thomas Tuchel got things wrong today as well. Again, this whole Reece James and Aspi switching for the wing back and centre back roles, I thought it, you know, when I saw it against Leicester, I was like, you know what, that's smart, that works, we'll do it for this game, and of course then the game after from the FA Cup leading into the Prem game. It worked, we kept Vardy neutralised, but I didn't think this was going to be a thing going forward. Aspi is not a good wing back, his crossing isn't great, and Reece James' crossing is amazing, and he's good at a wing-back role. You know, he's good going forward, good going back. So very strange for me to see Tuchel going with that again. The defence, in a way, hasn't done too much wrong today. You know, I don't think that first goal was on the defenders because it was played to the edge of the box for Traore. I think it was either Werner or someone further out than the defenders that are supposed to be dealing with that. And then, of course, Edouard Mendy injures himself in the process of it, and Kepa's coming on at halftime. I was so worried for what that game was going to end up being. And then, of course, the second goal was a penalty given away by Jorginho. Nothing wrong with the defence again, really. So it's hard to give them too much stick for a 2-1 loss, which sounds weird. I do think the pen was a little bit soft, by the way, on Jorginho. If anything, I'm pretty sure if it was Traore, I'm not sure who won it. That player ended up kicking Jorginho, but I might be wrong. I might have just, in the moment, not have been seeing it properly. But it was a pen according to the referee, and they go 2-0 up, and I'm just like, I thought it was over. You know, I had no hope that we were coming back into this game. As you can see by this graph here, the deeper, you know, the blue is how threatening we were on the attack, and you can see for the first half an hour or so, we were all over Aston Villa. Let's be clear here, Aston Villa won 2-1 but did not play well at all. Defensively, I don't think they were great. We had quite a few chances to score quite a few goals, and you can see here for the entire second half, more or less, again, we are class and they get a goal out of, you know, nothing. And it's so typical of Chelsea. We couldn't finish our chances. Moving through the squad, you know, I don't think Mendy can be faulted too much for that for that goal by Traore. It comes off the crossbar and in, and it was like scuffed off the ground and deflected up. Don't think he can do too much wrong, and he tried as hard as he could, clearly, because he got himself injured doing it. Again, I'm not too fussed on the back line. I think Aspi could have done a bit better on his crossing for sure, but defensively fine. Midfield two of Jorginho and Kovacic was awful. Jorginho kept putting Kovacic in bad positions where he just was giving him the ball, and then Kovacic would just get clattered through, the ball taken off him, and it would lead to a chance for Aston Villa. Didn't work well. I really hope we have Kante back for the Champions League final. Otherwise, I see a lot of problems for us. Mason Mount poor today, getting in good positions, but was snatching at his chances. You could tell he wanted to be the guy to score the goal, the guy to get Chelsea into the top four, to save the team, but it just wasn't working. He just was snatching at his chances, so not good from him today. Pulisic was anonymous today. I could not believe what I was seeing from him. He's starting to establish himself as a bit of a player that, you know, is good off the bench, but can he start week in, week out, let alone his fitness issues, but the fact that he doesn't tend to perform too well when he starts games and tends to do quite well off the bench. So he's creating himself a bit of a sticky situation with those performances. Timo Werner up front actually got a good rating in this, but again was poor. Didn't really create too much, created a couple chances and scuffed a couple shots, and that's about it really. For our team, it was poor. I think Tuchel is getting things wrong at the moment. You know, I'm not discrediting what he's done to get us into this fourth spot. But again, I think Tammy Abraham in this team, I hate to bang this drum again and again, but those chances we had, you know, in this section of the graph over here that you can see, and even in the second half, I think Tammy puts one of those chances away, especially this first section. We had chances in that box and we just were not taking them. I'm not claiming that Tammy is the most clinical finisher in the world. You know, he's certainly not. He misses his fair share of chances, but he's certainly a goal scorer. And you put that ball in front of him, in front of goal, I fancy him more than anyone else in this team at this point, because they've shown that they just cannot score to save their lives. So that's one bit that's just sticking with me. There's a bit of an odd choice. This Reece Azpilicueta thing I'm finding a bit weird, and for some reason we can't get a performance out of our midfield at the moment. You know, the season isn't over for us. We've got the Man City game, but I have got one eye thinking on, like, how do we improve this team? We need more leaders. We need more people who are capable of bringing this team up when they're down. Like today, a lot of that game, I just didn't have faith that we were going to get anything out of it. Azpi is a captain. He's a fairly good captain, but he's not vocal. He's not one to scream at players and get them in that zone and get them, you know, performing when we absolutely need to. He's just, unfortunately, not that guy. So do we need a Declan Rice? I've vouched for him before. I really do think he would be a good player in this team. He leads West Ham very well, and I think he would do a job for us, but I suppose that's a topic for another day. We can get into that, but we certainly also need a striker, because Timo, when he was playing on the wing, you know, late in that game, he looked quite a bit better. We had Havertz coming through the middle, and Timo was starting to look a bit more natural. Maybe, I know people say like, oh, Timo isn't a winger. When we start playing him centrally, we'll see what he's capable of. Well, we've seen what he's capable of, missing chance after chance after chance after chance. Yes, he's contributed some good things, but he certainly is not the person to lead the line for us. If he is, then I think he's got to be playing off another striker. You know, we need another player that is in front of him and he can play off them as a bit of a shadow striker, which even then isn't too dissimilar to how we're playing with our 10s/wingers. So I just don't think Timo can be the striker going into next season. We need a striker. We need someone in that midfield who's capable of scoring, I think, because at the moment there is no threat from range for us. Every team knows that you protect the box, you're mostly safe against us, and unless they, you know, have a little bit of a mistake or we score a bit of a wonder goal, then we don't tend to score. So it's a big problem, but this is a topic for another day. We'll have to discuss transfers in the off season. Most teams are ending their season now, but us and Manchester City are not. We've got a big game coming up. I'd have loved to kept our form, but you know, coming into this against Arsenal, the 2 games against Leicester, and this game against Villa, but none of them have realistically gone well apart from that Prem game against Leicester. So in the end, it is what it is. We made top 4. You know, today I want to wipe it from my memory and act like where we were when we were sort of hovering around mid-table to 4th. Let's just look at it in the big picture. It was good. Now we need a massive performance in the Champions League, and these players need a right old kick up the backside going into that game, because if they perform like they did today, then this is going to be an embarrassing Champions League final. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we can do this. I'll of course be covering the next game against Manchester City, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Hopefully we're coming out of that with big celebrations and another Champions League trophy to our name. So I'll catch you guys for that one. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.